Perceived value life is where you have your perception, their perception, and the truth.
And the truth.
The truth is
Three
lying
sides,
somewhere in between.
three sides to the story.
Absolutely,
Now,
100%.
I do want to kick the show off. I just want to say one thing. I want to say before we get into it. I want to say rest in peace to the gentleman who was killed yesterday at the Trump rally. Also, prayers go out to his wife, I believe, who was wounded,
Mm.
and two other people who are still critically wounded.
And from what I understand, he was a firefighter.
Oh, the gentleman that got killed.
Yeah, firefighter.
Yeah.
And that's what the wife wanted all of us to know. He was a firefighter. He died a hero because he was protecting his family when he got shot, his wife
Wow.
and kids.
Wow.
He was hovering over, he was protecting his family when he got shot. So he is a hero and thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. Now, that's a perfect segue. I wanted to play for you. I want to play a video of your girl Amanda Seals.
Okay,
So
my girl. Why she gotta be my girl?
I think she's not mine right now. But look, listen, it, people have a right to their opinion, so I'm not one to sit up here and be like people can't have their opinion.
Yes, of course. This is her
But
perception, y'all. This is
so
all her perception. Her perception.
it's her perception. So there's a video, and I'm sure she may not be the only one, but she has a video, a little clip, I guess on Instagram or whatever, talking about the Trump's shooting was staged. So I'm gonna go ahead and play. Let's play her video, and then we could talk about it. So I'm gonna play this little clip of what she had to say.
Okay.
That was more staged than a Tyler Perry production of Medea Runs for President. This was, I believe, done to try to show his strength counter to Biden's fragility.
That's an interesting point of view.
It is an interesting point of view. So I know my take on that video.
To
So
show his strength versus Biden's fragility. Hmm. Okay, that's an interesting take. I wonder if this was her first thought. I wonder if her thought process evolved.
I don't think
Did
so.
it evolve, or this is like, is this the hill that she dying on?
You know what, Amanda Seals, from what I've seen, I don't know her personally, obviously, but she's the kind of person that she's gonna say the first thing off of her head,
Yeah,
and she's gonna say it, and I think she's gonna stick with it.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so this is my thing about first of all, now it's a fact the gentleman died, the
Yeah,
firefighter died. It's a fact that people was actually shot yesterday.
yeah,
So I'm all for a good conspiracy theory, but it has to kind of make sense, right?
yeah.
So the idea that they're going to stage a shooting where Trump is going to get let's say Trump didn't even get grazed. Let's say he didn't. The people did actually get shot. There were witnesses that saw the firefighter shot in the head.
Yeah.
People who were sitting behind and in front.
There
One
were
gentleman.
also, go ahead. I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
please, please,
No,
please, go
I
ahead.
interrupted.
No,
I
go ahead,
thought
go
you were
ahead. You
finishing
have a
that
thought?
statement.
Jump in,
I
please, please,
apologize, but
please.
there were also witnesses who actually saw the gunman too. Witnesses who actually saw the
Yes,
gunman too.
right,
So
right.
how can we say that it was like I would like to know her specifics to why she thinks it was all staged. What do
Go ahead.
you think that whole situation was staged too? Like having the guy on top of the roof
That's just stupid.
with a rifle or a semi-automatic rifle and like is all of that staged too?
Well, let's keep it like this. We could say
I
that
guess the blood on Trump's ear was staged too.
okay. Let's assume that part.
Were they packets of
Let's assume
ketchup?
they were packets of ketchup. Let's just assume that.
What we're saying.
Take away Trump's part. How do you stage the other parts as far as people getting shot? You know what I mean? Now, you could say that the Secret Service was lacking, and they weren't on point, and maybe something slipped. And I know that right now, from what I hear, there's obviously a federal investigation into how did that happen.
Yeah.
But just getting back to this video, so at the end of the day, you got to say to yourself, how bad do you hate Trump to the point where you're just like delusional? You know what I'm saying? And also, come on now. You telling me they had to stage a shooting to accentuate Biden's fragility? Are you serious? Like The
Yes.
past 2 weeks have been nothing but Trump ain't had to do nothing.
He didn't have to do nothing. He's been so quiet.
Trump could have been at the
He's been
crib
so
chilling.
quiet.
He could have been at the crib chilling until. And listen, I'm not a super MAGA Trump guy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But I'm objective. And Trump could have sat at the crib from now until November, chilling in the bed,
right.
and it would do nothing to
Show his
pronounce.
strength
It would, and also,
or to
well,
show
or to
Biden's
show Biden's
fragility.
fragility. There's nothing Trump had to do. The whole party, the whole Democratic Party is like, yo, you need to step down. I mean, everybody knows that it's been getting worse by the day.
Just holding your breath, praying that he makes it through the speech.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a teleprompter, I'm sorry, Biden, but if you don't have a teleprompter, it just doesn't go well. It
Listen,
doesn't go well.
even if
And
he
then
has
when
it,
he has to answer the media questions, that doesn't tend to go well. It just,
right.
you can see the fragility right then and there. Like, I hold my breath and I just pray that he gets through it a lot of
Even
the
if he
time.
has a teleprompter, it it doesn't matter at this point because he's old and he's gonna make these slips. So I want to pull up the clip where the last speech or the talk he made at the UN
Hmm.
UN Assembly, I think it's called, if I'm not mistaken, the UN Assembly, when he made two of them. He was calling up Vice President Kamala Harris, and he said Vice President Trump
Yep.
in one, and then he also said he was introducing Walensky, uh, the president of Ukraine, and he
Yeah.
called him Putin. So
Yes.
I'm not, slips do happen, but something happens when your brain is not quite all the way there when you're older. These are things we expect our grandparents to do at 82
Absolutely.
years old.
A
It's
hundred
not a shock.
percent.
But the idea that Trump don't need to do nothing right now. He does not need to do a staged thing. So my thing with Amanda, I'm like, yo, and anybody else who's super 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 liberal, honestly, videos like that to me make them look more delusional. It's not good for anybody who's very liberal because it makes the liberal side look delusional.
Mhm.
It's gonna make it look more pitiful.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And honestly, it's not gonna help Joe Biden. You know what I mean? So,
No, not at all.
but I'll pull up that clip in a minute. But I mean, what do you think about um Amanda Seals as far as like that mindset to just jump on it, based on the facts that we have? Like,
I think it's crazy how she can convince herself that that's the truth. Like, she just doesn't seem to want to see it any other way except for that. I can't relate to that. I'm sorry. I just can't relate to it. I like to hear both sides. I like to hear like all the facts and to come to that conclusion. I just don't see any factual information in that. It's just your opinion of it, and but the way that she presents it is it's as if it's factual information.
yeah,
um
like I mean, even
the
if you're gonna do,
presentation of it is just like so matter of fact, like this is what it is,
yeah,
y'all.
it's just
Don't fall for the
yeah,
whoop-de-doo. It's
just like the natural response is just to deny it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I said, I'm all for a good conspiracy theory, but what are you basing it on? It's like
yeah, that doesn't have any. Yeah, what are you
everything on
basing it
TV
on?
was
There's
fake.
an you
Everything was
guessing
fake.
that whole setup was
The
fake?
new, everything, the
Like,
news, it
was
was all just don't believe any of it. It's all,
don't
that.
believe it. Like, what oh my god, you can go on forever on like, was this fake, was this not fake, like, were the people real, were they really there, was there
Yeah,
really a firefighter who saved his
it's
family? It's
all
like,
AI.
I guess I don't know, is it all AI? Were the people really there, all the witnesses that witnessed, and the guy?
No,
Don't let me go down that rabbit hole because it is such a long rabbit hole to go down, and I'm just not willing to, put
no,
put the energy into going down that rabbit hole. It just sounds, it's nonsense. It just sounds like nonsense, and I feel, yeah, bad for the Liberal Party, honestly.
well,
Like,
yeah,
because I mean, you
because
got that out there, and then you also have gaslighters
and she
who are
might,
out there not willing to admit Joe's status and what's going on with Joe. Like, it's just like, come on, y'all. It's just, call it for what it is. Just
Yeah,
be truthful.
call
Just
it for what
call
it
it for
is.
what it is. We want more transparency. We want to see that, we want to know that you are capable of telling us the truth, because there are some of us out here who clearly see, like, there's our perspective, there's their perspective, and then there's the truth. And you can, for me, it's just like you can clearly see when it's just not the truth. There's nothing there to back it up.
Mm-mm.
You're just splattering out lies, and maybe your emotions are just getting in the way of your logical thought process.
Yeah,
I'm not exactly
yeah,
sure what's going on right there, but that's
yeah.
not what it is at all.
Well, at the end of the day, there are people who, we've had this whole I would vote for Biden even if he's on life support thing. I get it because it's like you hate Trump more than you like Biden. Okay, you don't like Trump. I get that. But you also have to be honest with yourself and kind of look and say, has the Democratic Party really served us correctly? And even if, okay, put it like this, even if you're still going to vote Democrat, fine, it's all right. But my point is that you can't be to the point where you're like, oh, this guy is going to fake a shooting to help himself. He doesn't even need to do it. Like you were saying, there's obviously a lot of, anybody can see there's a lot of weakness on the Democratic side. Now, I'm going to play this clip, this last thing, that because before the shooting, literally yesterday, I was listening to this video, some of the gaffes he made at the UN, and it really was like I was like, damn, this is making it worse and worse and worse for this guy,
Yeah.
Biden. He really needs to just really get out of here because it's ruining his legacy. And this alone, before the shooting yesterday, was making Biden look worse. If anything, honestly, the shooting is not helping Donald Trump per se, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's actually temporarily is taking the heat off of Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I mean, I think it's also adding some more gasoline to the fire that Trump has.
Well, that's no
Like the
question.
the support. I feel
Yeah.
like it's adding more
Right.
to, that whole thing is adding more
Well, we're
to
talking.
his
He's
story, to
this
the
is Tupac.
legacy, to
He's gonna be
yeah,
the
this is like
he's gonna be the two. He's the Tupac of presidential candidates. He survived the shooting now.
he
Got on
survived
jail.
all the loss,
Got
like
on
some of
bail
the
out of jail, California dreaming. He's gonna play California Love at the next at
the
the next
lawsuits.
rally. California.
Immune.
I swear to God, he's gonna play California Love
He
at the
got
next.
shot and he survived.
Survived it, so
It's just like, you can try, but you can't take me
yeah,
down.
he's got the street cred
He's
now.
got the street cred like a mug.
But at the end of the day, look, it's taking some heat off of Biden because all they've been focusing on the past two
Ooh,
weeks.
they've been hitting
Let me
him
let
so
me let me
hard.
play
They've
your
been
man.
hitting Biden so hard. I
Let's
hope he resting. I hope he
let's play your man.
getting some rest.
And we'll stand with them every single step of the way. That's what the compact says,
Hold up.
loudly and clearly. And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin.
Hold up.
You can
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait.
he like, damn
You
it.
see those eyebrows? Wait, nope.
He like,
I didn't mean that. I
damn,
didn't
I
mean
did it
that.
again.
But listen to the recovery.
Okay, let's.
beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr.
Anyway.
President,
I'm better.
you are a hell of a lot better.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God. Here we go. Anyway, like it don't matter. Anyway, here we
That
go.
was it.
Yeah, I made that little. Yeah, I made a little flubber, but anyway, he does that a lot. Whenever he
says,
whenever he
always
real
says anyway.
yeah, he says anyway a
He's good
lot.
on
Even
anyway.
he's so good on anyway. When he knows he's made a flubber, listen, y'all. This is the
This is that
this is
flubber.
the cue. This is the little cue. When Biden has made a little flubber, he says anyway.
Anyway,
Always.
man, listen. Oh my
Anyway,
God.
we're gonna defeat Medicare. We're gonna beat Medicare. Anyway.
Yes.
If your team came back and showed you data that she would fare better against former President Donald Trump, would you reconsider your decision to stay in the race?
No, unless they came back and said, there's no way you can win. Me. Thank you.
This ends tonight's press conference.
Tonight, President Biden with a slip-up after being asked about Vice President Kamala Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
Okay. So
He
right.
didn't even realize that he made a mistake.
So this is my thing. Now I'm no expert on the matter, but there's something that happens when you have your right mind. You know what I'm saying? If if I made that, I immediately I would hear it because it doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make
Yep.
sense to me.
Yep.
In my 40-something-year-old mind. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I know immediately that doesn't sound right. When you listen to him do it, it's like he's saying it and it goes by his brain or sensor once something comes out of your mouth and it doesn't catch him right away. That's not normal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
to me it's not normal. When I say something, it just don't make even when I hear it immediately, it doesn't make sense for
Yeah.
me.
Mhm.
That's someone whose my brain is not 85 years old. If
Mhm.
I was 85, maybe I don't catch it as quick.
Mhm.
So the idea that that's just a flap, what do you call it? What do you
A
call it?
flubber
A flubber.
or a
The
flubber.
idea
Yeah,
that's
a
just a
flubber.
flubber
Yeah,
is
just a
like
little flubber.
nah, 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 nah. So Trump doesn't need to do nothing because stuff like that
Yeah, and that just proves the point,
proves the point.
Amanda. Like, Trump doesn't need to do anything because Joe has been doing it all on his own to show the
Joe is doing it.
fragility.
Joe is handling that business.
So that automatically makes that conspiracy theory non-applicable.
Everybody who's super liberal, you need to realize that, we don't have a very good choice if you're super liberal. You don't have a lot of great choices. And, the only person that could win right now,
Wait a minute now, before you go
oh,
there,
I'm
because
sorry.
we are post Trump getting shot.
Right.
Pre
Okay, let's go pre. What do you think pre? Who's the only person that could win pre
the
that you
only,
think? The only
the one,
who?
and the only person who had a chance, who has a chance to defeat Trump,
Who?
Michelle Obama.
Really?
Yeah, Michelle
Okay.
Obama. She is the only one who has a chance,
Only
the
Democrat, yeah.
only Democrat that had a chance pre Trump
Shooting
shooting
would be a
would have been Michelle Obama.
now.
She's the only one who had a chance. It would have been a good run. It
Well,
would have
I'll
been a
say
good
this.
run. It would have been a good race. Anybody else, they throw on that ticket,
Wait, let
I'm
me say
sorry,
this.
he's blowing them out the water.
We're just gonna speak on pre, like you
Pre,
said. I'm
okay.
I'm voting for Michelle Obama. I would
I will
vote.
vote for her
I
100%.
I vote for her
Yes,
blindly. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I will vote for her no matter what she stays.
I blindly. I don't even
I'm
care.
voting.
I don't even
Yes,
care. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Yep.
Now post the shooting. Post the shooting. Do you think Michelle Obama could still win? This speaks to the Tupac effect, right? So
Yes.
now Pac. Let's go to Pac for a second. Now
Okay.
Pac before the 1994 shooting, the first shooting when he got shot in New York, he was popular. We're talking about I Get Around, Tupac. He's popular.
Yep.
Everybody knew who Tupac was. I Get Around. Me Against the World hadn't even come out yet. It came out when he was in jail. So when Me Against the World came out, he was popular. Dear Mama
Dear
came out.
Mama.
I remember that summer of '95 playing that stuff, his whole album. Now, that Pac, and then the Pac when he got out of jail, and dropped California Love, and it was told, heard he was going to death row and all this stuff, that was a different kind of Pac.
Yes.
So just for comparison, the pre-Trump, he's already popular. Now post-Trump,
And he was already making gains
and he was already
amongst,
up.
yeah, he was already up
Right.
making gains in a lot of the areas that that a typical, like a liberal would be making gains in, getting
Mhm.
the, the black person's vote, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So he was even making gains there.
That's a great point. I'm gonna pull up a video about the black male vote.
What do you think the GOP and Republicans are doing to woo black men?
They're spending the money and they're paying attention to black men. And I mean, I think their messaging is working with some, and because they've been intentional in spending dollars.
Post the shooting, I think even Michelle Obama might have a hard time now.
It might be a little bit.
Now, me personally, I would still vote for
I would
Michelle
still vote for
if she
Michelle.
ran. His popularity now, his star is even brighter now, honestly. So I don't even know if Michelle Obama could beat him at this point, because my take on what happened with the shooting is a couple of things. It's his star is brighter, so he's even more in the spotlight. Obviously,
It did nothing to strengthen the
no,
Democratic Party.
nothing to help the Democratic Party, because they still have the same issue. They still have
Yep.
Nothing's changed for the Democratic Party. It has taken some heat temporarily off of Joe Biden's dementia or Parkinson's disease or whatever he's got going on. It's taken something off of that temporarily, but
Hmm.
he's more popular, obviously. Like I said, what's the other thing? It hasn't helped the Democratic Party, and also, I think even some people who are a little bit like on the fence
Yeah.
or had some anger against Trump,
Hmm.
either they're gonna go one or two ways. They're either gonna go super conspiracy like Amanda Seals and
Hmm.
be like, yeah, that's what he get, or
Hmm.
this is some BS, or they're gonna be like, you know what? They feel for him as a human being. They might say, damn, a couple centimeters, his head was gonna be blown off. He
Yeah.
could have easily died yesterday. Easily.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're not even talking about an inch. We're talking about a couple centimeters. How far is our ear from the
Not
side of our
far.
head?
Not far. Centimeters.
And you don't typically, I mean, a
Just
headshot is
look at that.
serious from that distance.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? So I think it's a big help for him. And at this point, I don't even know if Michelle could win. You know what I mean? But if Michelle ran, but but,
But
but here's the funny thing: Michelle ain't running.
I know we all in our hearts and our
Michelle ain't
heads
running.
like, oh, if Michelle. We put
Only if.
all of our emotions in there. Only if. Only
Only
if.
if.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I don't blame her though.
Jesus would have to come down. Maybe
Jesus.
Jesus. You think Jesus could beat him? Or you think Trump is that popular?
I think Jesus would probably get
Jesus
him.
would get him by a couple points.
Jesus would definitely get him. I mean, it wouldn't be easy, but Jesus would definitely get him. I mean, it's something about
Jesus
the
versus.
story of survival, still thriving in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
It was just thrown like this trial has just been constantly like the trial,
Oh,
yeah, has
oh, 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 his
his trial,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, a constant, 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 constant. Now that you got some relief off of that because there is some immunity involved,
mm,
not from everything, but they're gonna have to dig deeper to find the things that actually were not um illegal, things that were illegally done
oh,
when he
right,
was not a president, like
yeah,
on the off time.
on
Like,
the,
did he do anything illegally on the
yeah,
off time? Otherwise, if he was doing it on president's time, that's presidential business
yeah,
that he was
yeah.
taking care of. So now they're going to have to work a little harder to find the evidence that
Well,
he's guilty on some of these things.
I
So,
don't think I think they're saying that he's gonna all that stuff's gonna get pushed back.
oh yeah,
The New York
100%.
trial, I
It's
think
not
he's
going to
supposed to
happen
get.
before the election.
Definitely not.
No, it's not happening before the election. So,
And I think the New York trial is gonna be his sentencing. He's not gonna get any jail time, and the other trial is gonna be pushed off, and if not dropped. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
you
but
know,
that just goes to say that, like, all of the adversity that he's been going through. I mean, yeah, he got money. I mean, he
yeah,
ain't struggling, you know
yeah,
what I mean? But it's just like when you got money, you're faced with like maybe even tougher crime, like just
right,
whatever they're,
right,
charging him with now,
right,
federally.
yeah.
So it's just like it's the story. It's just the whole story of the fight that
The
he's
whole story,
the whole
yeah,
story. It's
yeah,
not, I think it started as president, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Not like what he's done in his business. I mean, he's
right,
had some failed businesses and not treated people the way that they should be treated.
yeah,
Not everybody is fair in life, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's not just Donald Trump.
yeah.
There's a lot of people who
And
are
those are small
those
potatoes.
are
No one cares about that anymore
right.
anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So now during his pregnancy
Pregnancy.
presidency,
Pregnancy.
even and not even necessarily during his pregnancy, in this interim of him trying to become president
Mhm.
again, he's faced a lot of adversity and he seems to survive every single
Right,
thing that
right,
comes to him. He lands on his feet.
right.
So
Yeah.
who knows? That energy is like whatever that universal energy he got is like supporting him. It's keeping all those feet, all those toes on the ground
For real.
and ain't knocking him down.
Listen,
So
listen.
that just shows more
God
than just strength.
God had him yesterday. God
A
had that
hundred
man
percent.
yesterday because, Man, man, man. If he hadn't turned his head, that people don't really realize how close. You know what I'm saying? God had him because he could have easily caught a real headshot,
A hundred
easily.
percent. Yes.
Now, had he got a headshot and died, this country would have turned into some other violence would have came after that. And it
Some
would have
level of
been
discourse that.
it would have been like some Civil
Mhm.
War type of vibe
Mhm.
going on.
Yep,
Yeah,
it would have been happening
absolutely.
right here
Yep.
on our turf. So,
So it's one of those things where, we got to really look at it and say, what's the climate right now? And it's going to be interesting. The Republican National Convention is happening, I believe, this week.
yeah, it's coming up.
I think this Tuesday or Thursday, and then obviously the DNC Democratic one is happening in August. But what's going to be more interesting than ever is going to be to see what type of security is going to change
Mhm.
for these rallies.
Mhm.
Because I would never have been worried if I were like a super Trump supporter. I would never been shook to go to a rally. I would have been like,
Yeah.
all the people are super supportive. It didn't seem like there was a lot of like defectors or angry people against him at his rallies. So the
Mhm.
idea was like you're not going to have somebody who has the nerve to even go against Trump.
Well, I was watching the NBC News this morning, and I forget the name of the lady who was speaking, but she, I think, also dealt with like security.
Oh yeah, I did see
And
that.
she was talking about how whenever when you're standing and speaking publicly on the outside, not in an arena or
Yeah.
anything like that, it does like everyone who has been assassinated or who has had an attempt of being assassinated, it was all in that open arena.
Right.
It was always
Yeah.
outside. It has never been in a closed arena.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you stand that chance every time you get on that
When you
stage
get on that
in the
stage.
open because you don't know, you can't control every factor of that. The Secret Service, I mean, they do from what I understand, they do the best that they can to plan, like
Yeah.
to make sure that they think that that was far enough. But apparently, I don't know, who knows what kind of inspection they did on the building. We don't know if they did an official inspection of the building, go inside to see if anyone was in there
Right.
or to go beyond the parameters in which they were in. So that's a question too. Like, how did Secret Service allow that?
What they were saying or what she was saying. And I can pull that up.
Let's bring to the conversation Evie Pamporas. She's a former Secret Service agent. Evie, good morning.
On stage, and then you look out as if you were the protectee. What can I see? And if I can see it, it can probably see me. Now, for an outer perimeter like that, typically you will have a local law enforcement presence. You'll notice those buildings, and the Secret Service works with local police. You have to think of the Secret Service like they're the conductor of the orchestra. They create the blueprint and design for the security plan. They work with state police. They work with local police. And then they put in resources and assets.
So in the typical scenario, or in the scenario that one wishes would have unfolded, would you have had perhaps a local official secure that roof to make sure the roof is clear, make sure nobody's in the building, and then stand guard there so no one comes in after that clearing?
So we don't know if they did or did not do this.
Yes, but they should have?
I would presume you should have a local police presence in that area. Now, could you have put somebody on that roof?
So right there, that's when she talks about the local law enforcement. So I think what they're going to end up looking at is they're going to look at the local, I guess, Butler police, and they're going to be looking at to see where the local cops were lacking. Because if you're Secret Service, they have a certain perimeter, and 150 yards is, you figure 100 yards is a football field, so it's about 150 yards is a nice distance.
Mm-hmm.
100, a football field and a half.
And you can pull up this video. This is where the guy who was interviewed
Hmm.
talked and said that he told the local police.
Right. Let me find
So
that.
it's
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle, absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police are like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And Next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Honestly, it's just like even with the local police, even if the local police was just trying to scramble around and see what, because he said the local police were running around. I mean, so maybe there was some indication that a shooter was around. Otherwise, why would they
maybe
just
so.
be running around? So maybe he's like, maybe they're trying to figure out what to do. See, maybe there was no plan. You don't expect these things to happen, but the
Yeah.
local police should at least have a plan for
Right.
if somebody says, I see something,
Right.
to have a team of people. If you have a team of people, if they have the funds for a team of people
Right.
to go and check it out,
Yeah.
or to be able to get in contact with the Secret Service
Right.
somehow, or point guy who is the connection between the local police and the Secret Service. Look, if you notice anything, then get on the thing and speak to this guy, because he has, what do you call those things?
The walkie-talkie thing.
Yeah, get a walkie-talkie and communicate with this guy.
Right.
Like, there's got to be a plan for something like this.
Well,
And if
let's
they were
assume
just scrambling around,
maybe they had a plan. Maybe they had a plan, but here's the thing: if they had a plan, I don't think that I don't think the guy if the guy was saying that prior to the shooting,
hmm
I don't think the police would have just sat there. I don't think. But
no, I
anything
don't.
could happen.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
I mean, it
We
sounded
wasn't
like
there,
they
so I
were
don't know. But
trying to figure out what was going on. They're like, where, So I'm sure it all happened so fast,
yeah,
because it
that's a
sounded
good
like
point.
on the way that he was even telling the story, I can just see it all happening
Probably
just
happened
so
like
fast. And he's like
so
going like that. There's somebody, and people are scrambling around. And then the next thing
yeah,
the shots pop off.
maybe the guy he told was taking the information in and then was about to, like you said, maybe relay it to other people and all
Yeah.
this stuff by the time, because it sounded like when the guy's telling the story, between that and when the shooting happened was, I don't know, maybe a couple of minutes. It sounded like maybe,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So,
I
'cause
mean, and I think that's also a contribution as to why he got killed so quickly. That
yeah,
maybe that could be a
exactly,
reason
yeah, yeah,
why they shot the shooter
right,
so quickly,
yeah,
is because maybe that information did prove to, lead to that.
yeah. I no, I totally agree. I
Because
mean,
only
there's
like maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 shots went off okay, like, so we heard like maybe 2 shots go off. That, I think the second or the third one hit his ear, and then we heard shots
right,
afterwards. So maybe those shots afterwards were um the team killing the
probably
shooter.
so. So Thomas Matthew Crooks. So the guy's 20 years old. So 20-year-olds, you know, I don't think that he is somebody who did this for political reasons. I'm going to jump out on a limb and say that this 20-year-old tried to kill Trump for something totally freaking different. I'm going to jump out on a limb. Now, everybody right now is trying to figure out whether he was a liberal or a Democrat and he donated to this party, that party.
Well, it's so funny that they're saying, "Oh, he was a Republican and he shot Donald Trump."
I don't think it
Eh,
matters, yo. I don't think it matters. I'm gonna go back to
Yeah, but they trying to push that. So anyway,
no,
yeah,
and I get it. I
it's like,
totally get it.
no, but he was a Republican, and yeah,
I
that's
get
what
it.
he did. He was a Republican.
You know what? That would make a lot of sense if he
But you
was.
got to tell the whole
Okay,
story, everybody. You got to tell the whole story, people. All the media people out there, tell the
no, they're
whole.
trying to make it make sense. That's the problem.
Everybody's trying to make it make sense right now. But if you're going to be out there telling the public this is who this guy was, he was not only a registered voter recently, like 2020, but he was also a contributor to the Democratic
Well,
Party.
they
So
did report
nobody,
that.
they did.
They did.
Okay, all right.
They reported that, but they're only talking about his motives. I mean, they don't know his motives, but they're only talking about what side he was on. And I
Right.
don't think it, you
It
know,
it may not even matter, because he may have made this attempt at President Trump's life for a whole
for a whole
nother
nother reason.
reason,
Now, and
non-political.
that brings me to, because right now Trump is and he's going to live in infamy. He's only three presidents have survived an assassination. The most recent were Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
So two of the most popular presidents in Republican history,
Yeah.
right? So let's go back to Ronald Reagan. The guy that killed Ronald Reagan, or excuse me, the guy that shot Ronald Reagan,
Who attempted to kill.
was John Warnock or John W. Hinckley Jr. John Hinckley. So John Hinckley, right? John Hinckley shot Ronald Reagan in 1981, right? Now, how old was John Hinckley at the time? So let's compare the two.
Okay.
John was born in 55. So if my math is correctly, 1981 would have made him 26, right? So he's 6 years older than our shooter, but they're in the same range of age,
Yeah,
right?
same age category, 20s.
So John shot President Reagan, and let's look at the reason why he shot
Okay.
President Reagan.
Thomas Matthew Crooks.
Okay, John Hinckley and Thomas Crooks. I'm just going to say his last name, Thomas Crooks. So
Yeah.
what similarities do they have? We don't really know, but I could probably assume, you tell me if you think I'm wrong,
Okay.
they probably both had some level of mental issues, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
We could agree
I
upon
could,
that, right?
yeah, I could agree upon that for sure.
So we're not going to go through his whole life, but he was 26, just 6 years older than Crooks. Now, John Hinckley, he became obsessed with the movie Taxi Driver that came out in '76. Robert De Niro obviously played Travis Bickle, and he became infatuated with Jodie Foster, who played a sexually trafficked 12-year-old child in the movie Taxi Driver. So anyway, let me go. So it goes on to say how Foster went to Yale. Hinckley moved to New Haven, Connecticut to stalk her. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so the Ronald Reagan assassination. Hinckley arrived in Washington in 1981. So he went to Washington basically to try to kill Ronald Reagan. But his reasoning for wanting to kill Ronald Reagan, his reasoning was that he wanted to impress. He thought that by killing the president, because he was obsessed with Jodie Foster, tried to stalk her, tried to get close to her, and also it talks about in Wikipedia that um, this guy actually wanted to kill President Jimmy Carter.
Hmm.
Because when he shot Ronald Reagan, it was only 6 months after the inauguration.
Mm.
Reagan hadn't been president that long, so he wanted to kill Jimmy Carter, and he had gotten really close as far as proximity to Jimmy Carter at some other event, but for whatever reason he didn't do it. But anyway, so his reasoning for trying to kill Ronald Reagan was that he wanted to impress Jodie Foster, and it's like
No correlation.
no, yeah, like was he? Think about it. At the time, when he shot Ronald Reagan, I was a baby, you
Oh
were a
my
baby, right?
gosh.
But at the time, think about it. That day, they may have been wondering: is he a Republican? Is he a Democrat? Does he hate the fact?
Right.
Because keep in mind, Reagan had just become president.
Yeah.
Um,
Trying to make it political.
yeah, and these young kids, you don't know. He might have been. They already said that this guy Crooks was bullied, right?
Yeah.
And who knows? This guy Hinckley, who tried to kill Reagan, may have wanted to, he well, not may have, but he wanted to impress a woman, Jodie Foster, who he had no chance of being with. But he thought in his brain, like, I can impress her, and maybe I can be with her. And it's got nothing to do with
Nothing
politics.
to do with politics
Nothing to do with politics.
whatsoever. So you never know what the mentality
You
of
never
these
know what.
of these people are. Honestly, you never know what the mentality is. That's why I like to wait, sit back, and watch and gather all the evidence before
Right.
I come to any conclusion of my own. You can have your own theories
100%.
and your own perspectives about, what you try to make it make sense in your own mind, right?
Make it make sense.
You try to make it make sense in your own mind, because I was going through a number of situations in my own head this morning. I was like, well, maybe I had a whole bunch of theories
What were you thinking?
going on in my head. I was trying to put pieces together. I was like, okay, so he was a Democrat and now he's a Republican and he has an assault rifle and he shoots a Republican candidate. So maybe he's really not a Republican. Maybe he's an ultra liberal and they
No.
just wanted to look like
Oh
he.
no.
Oh my God, my head was just
Oh no.
like down the
Not
tunnel.
good.
Going down That rabbit hole.
Oh shit, not good.
Yes, I know. I know. That's why I stopped myself. I stopped myself. I said, "You know what?
Good.
Let's yeah, I had to stop myself because it was getting crazy and I was trying to make it make sense
Oh man.
and it would have been another conspiracy theory that I would have never published
Oh my God.
publicly,
Yes,
just in
please
my own
don't
head,
do it.
just
Don't
in
do
my
it.
own head, and it's okay to go through that thought process. You're supposed to go through a thought process of some form of rationale, logic,
Sure, sure. You
to
say
come
it's
to
possible.
it's possible, like just to see what the possibilities are. And then, but there's just not enough information out there to even formulate a conclusion at this point. I think there needs to be a lot more investigation. That's what they're doing now, getting information from the parents. I really, really, really want to hear what the parents have to say about it. I know that they're going to be in the
Yeah.
they're they're going to probably, after they give all the information that they need to give to the police first, because you don't want to impede the investigation. I don't know how it could interfere, not impede, but interfere in the investigation by, doing interviews here, there, and everywhere. But I think once the family is interviewed, we may have some form of conclusion. I think then we can kind of draw our own conclusions.
Oh, as far as who he is?
As far as who he is, why he did it, nobody knows why he did it, who he is. I mean, I know you got your
I, I'm
you
just,
you
I'm
got your
just,
theory, but I
I'm
want
just,
more
I'm just throwing
information.
stuff out there. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
honestly, he's dead.
Yeah.
So, you know, here's the thing with John Hinckley, the guy who shot Reagan. He didn't die.
Yeah.
So they shot him. Secret Service shot him, but he lived. He went
Yeah.
to jail, and in fact, I believe he was paroled this year or last year. So he's an older man now.
Mm.
But he lived, so he could give some perspective after getting some treatment and things like that to tell you his motive.
Yeah, but we'll never know the real
We'll
truth.
never know his motive. So all we
That's
really
true.
can do is speculate, but we
Yeah.
got to put pieces together.
Right.
And a lot of these pieces are going to come out because even when you talk to the parents and the friends, you can just get these different
You
pieces.
can just get these different pieces. Yes.
Everybody knows this young man differently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm guessing it probably did not have anything to do with him really hating Trump.
Mhm.
That's my guess. My guess is that a lot of these young kids these days lack a lot of the social skills.
Mm.
They lack friendship. They lack the relationships,
Mm.
the sexual relationships. There's a huge number of, especially young men. There's
Mm.
a huge number of young men who don't have experience with any women, who are virgins into adulthood, who are very isolated, don't feel they have a place in the world. That's a huge epidemic with young men in our country. So, not saying that that's him, but I say that to say a lot of people don't have a purpose and want their name in lights, and they're like, who knows? Maybe he was suicidal. He could have been suicidal and knew that, okay, I'm gonna
Wow.
die today, and I'm gonna do something that's gonna leave a mark on the world. That happens a lot, and that's the most dangerous person to me.
Yeah.
Is somebody who is suicidal but wants to do something to be an infamy because he ain't scared of dying. You know what I'm saying? And it would be very simple if we could just say this guy hated Trump. I mean, he's 20. He's
Yeah.
20. When Trump was elected the first time in 2016, that was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So 8 years ago, when Trump was in office in inauguration, this kid was 12.
Yeah. Yeah, so how can you
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
so yeah, that kind of
He
hate
doesn't
kind
have
of
history.
yeah,
He doesn't
develops
remember.
over time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't remember Barack Obama. He doesn't remember George Bush. I mean, he's 20. This is 2024. He was born in 2004.
Hmm.
So when Barack got in there in '08, he was 4. So where does he get this level of anger for Donald
Mm.
Trump?
Mm.
It just doesn't seem likely. It's probably going to be something else. Um, but we'll see. That's my take on
I love it. Yeah. That
it.
raises a lot of questions. And I like you're right. Like it's just
You know
like
what I mean? Like the
I see
age.
yeah, the age and yeah, it takes time to develop, I think, unless that's kind of the environment that you were born in, born into hate. But I don't. I don't.
It's
It
gonna
don't.
take a lot of
Yeah,
hate.
it takes a lot of hate to develop that kind of emotion to want to reach out and just kill someone based on just that hate.
Yeah, it's just
So,
that doesn't add up. That
right,
doesn't
if
add
you
up at
said
all.
that, his friend said that he was bullied,
Mm-hmm.
that can definitely affect you mentally,
Yeah,
isolate you
hundred
for
percent.
sure. Um, so wow, there could be something there.
Yeah, definitely. And the Hinckley guy, he was 26. Um, he also had some issues, mental issues as far as depression.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't read his whole story, but he had some mental issues as far as depression. He had obviously had issues as far as women,
Yeah.
and you know, he didn't have the history to hate Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't make any sense. He was so young that now if this guy today and this guy Hinckley I'm talking about, if they were in their 40s, then you might have a situation where you get somebody who's 40, 45 years old. They have a level of history to possibly
And understanding to
understand it,
stand on
to
something.
be like,
Yep.
yeah, I'm a super liberal. I used to love Barack Obama. I hate when
And they've had enough time to see which each side has either done to the country,
right,
or yeah, exactly. They have
yeah,
they have the experience
you know.
to stand on something.
But anything's possible. Anything's possible. But we'll see. That's my thing is that we will definitely see. But it should be pretty interesting.
It's going to be interesting how everything, how it all evolves, how this story evolves. I'm
Definitely.
really interested in hearing what Trump has to say and see how he moves after all of this.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. I think if I'm not mistaken, the next time he'll probably speak will be at the Republican
Republican.
National Convention. Now, when you look at the security they're going to have, it's going to be Fort Knox in that joint.
Yeah.
You even breathe wrong, you're going to catch a Secret Service bullet. It's going to be super tight security. And it already was, but it's going to be even more, I imagine,
Yeah.
But we shall see. But he's definitely got the Pac effect now, so so we'll see.
We'll
So
see.
we
That's
shall see.
that's the question.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's our spiel on what's going on. This is the Perceived Value Life podcast. This is a very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting week and
Yes.
months ahead. We got 2 months to the election. Um, Let us know what you guys think about what's going on in this whole crazy
In this
situation.
whole crazy situation. And here's a question that I want you to think about, and I'd love to hear your your response in the comments. Is Donald Trump the new poster child for the Tupac effect?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd say yeah. I'd say yeah. There's already some memes with him wearing a bulletproof vest.
I know. Isn't that wild? Like, the
Yo,
two
the internet is undefeated.
the
I swear to
internet
God, the
is
internet is undefeated.
undefeated. It's about, it's like the Tupac effect for those of you who don't know.
They know the Tupac
Do
effect.
you do
Yeah,
do we? Do we?
the kiddies should know the Tupac effect. If they don't know, don't explain it to them.
All right,
They don't
then
know
look
the
it up.
Tupac. Yeah, they should know the
Look up
Tupac
look
effect.
up the
Yeah,
Tupac
you
effect
know.
and answer that question.
Yeah,
Okay? Is Trump the new poster child for the Tupac effect?
yeah,
And yeah, I guess that's it. That's it
yeah.
for today, y'all.
All right.
My name is Faith, and you can find me at Half Faith Afri Half Faith Yoga, and you can find me at Half Faith Yoga. And
Cool. You can catch me at Crucial Combo podcast. You can catch me on YouTube. You can catch me on Instagram, Facebook, all that good
all
stuff.
the social
We'll
medias.
put it in the link. You know what I mean?
You can catch both of us on all the social medias.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All
Uh,
right, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in.
Perceived Value Life podcast.
Perceive Value Life podcast.
You
And
guys, and what?
what'd you say? You said you have the this and
For
the
the
truth.
slogan?
That's your slogan.
Oh,
What's the
okay.
slogan? What's the new slogan now?
You have your perspective, their perspective, and somewhere in between, you have the truth.
Truth.
All right. You guys have a blessed week.
Peace
See you
out,
next
y'all.
time. Bye.